I've got a couple of live rounds that I need to disassemble. So you never want to throw live rounds in the trash, okay? And for the most part, most modern ammunition is waterproof or water resistant, so just throwing it in a bucket of water for a couple of days ain't gonna do it. So we have the easy way and we have the proper way. So anyway, first thing I want to show you is a bullet puller. So this is a bullet puller, and basically what it does is it'll separate the actual bullet from the case and allow me to disassemble everything. And you want to do that because you want to make sure that, again, you don't throw live rounds in the trash. So you can at least get the powder out. Now, there are collets, there are fittings, depending on what caliber you're using. This particular bullet puller is from Quinetics Corporation. Again, I got most of my reloading, my start in reloading, I actually got from a guy who was getting rid of a lot of his stuff. So he didn't even know what he had. So I was just buying, gave him a couple $100 in cash and bought boxes of equipment that at the time I didn't even know how to use. So anyway, bullet puller is pretty neat. So you mount this bullet inside this clear plastic puller. I don't know if you can see the bullet is in there. And then what you do after about a dozen of wrapping this on something hard, the bullet will actually come out of the case and the powder comes with it. There we go. That was kind of difficult because that's a crimped cartridge. So you have to get the bullet actually out of the crimp. So if you take a look, now we have an empty cartridge with nothing left in there, just the primer. And then I did a couple of rounds already, but whoop, there you go. There's the powder and the actual bullet. Now, in a perfect world, I would reuse those bullets because there's nothing wrong with the bullet. The reason why I was disassembling it is because the round itself was a failure to feed and it crushed the case. So theoretically, I could reuse the bullet. I'm not hard up for 2 or 3 bullets, so I'm not going to do that. One thing you don't ever use, you don't ever use it again, is the powder. You don't ever use powder again. You don't know what's in it. Period. These rounds right here, I might swear up and down that I might have reloaded once or twice before. But then looking at the powder, I don't use this type of powder. This is a fine actual powder. This looks like something that maybe, I don't remember what brand they are. CFL. I don't remember what brand they are. I got these for a couple of bucks at one of the local places. But anyway, you don't ever use the powder. Okay, so that's how you disassemble an actual rifle round. Then what I'll do is you can either have some fun with a nail. You could pop that primer if you really want to be brave. Or what I would do is at this point, now I'll throw it in a solution. Little bit of vinegar, a little bit of water. I'll let it sit there for a day or two, and by then the primer is already done. It's dissolved. Some people use baking soda. The bottom line is you want to disturb the natural pH of water. You don't want to just soak it in water because water, it'll take weeks. Okay, so you just want to disturb the pH a little bit. You don't want it too acidic. You don't want it too basic. Anyway, then you've got the brute force way. Now, the brute force way works with the little 22s. Now, the 22s are rim fire. Now, I'm going to be putting a pair of pliers to it, but if you know it, I'm not banging on the case head, so this is perfectly safe. Okay, and no, I'm not going to turn into that guy from the video where he's lighting his kitchen table on fire with the fireworks. That was pretty neat, though. And what I'll do is I'll just take a 90-degree pliers, and I'll just sit there and I'll grab that bullet real tight, and you'll see it's soft, it's lead, and you wiggle it just a little bit, and in a minute that will come out, and boom, out comes the powder, out comes the bullet, and that's not a problem. And again, these primers, along with the other rounds, they'll go in a bucket for a couple of days. Lastly, shotgun. Shotgun's the easiest. Jeez, just take a box cutter to it and just cut the head of it off. And if you cut the head of it off, obviously inside, and they're going all over the place, but the shot, let me see if I can point this down a little bit. So there you go. So the shot's all coming out of it. Okay? And again, you don't want to reuse them, not hard up for some shot, even though I don't have any more. And I found out the weirdest thing. I found that Cabela's will not ship primers or gunpowder to New Jersey. There's no state law that says you can't, but I just tried to order some powder and some primers and they won't do it. Anyway, pull the wad out, and then out comes your powder. Okay? Now, one last thing about primers. I personally do not decap primers inside my equipment when they're live. Okay? You've seen some YouTube videos if you look online. Everybody's got a different opinion. Well, this is my opinion. I don't ever decap a live primer. A live primer has enough balls to blow apart my decapping machine. Okay? It could actually break the decapping pin. It could do all kinds of... I mean, I'm sitting right there when it happens. So when a primer goes off, it goes off with authority. You don't want to ever decap a live primer in your machine. I'm just telling you that right now. I won't ever do it. So anyway, I thought you'd like to know how I get rid of live ammo.